Well, that's a little bit better. Still really high. All right, well, I guess we gotta crank them down some more. As you can see under here, you can see at how much of an angle that control arm is. So yeah, we definitely want to add those spacer blocks, especially since now we're going to be pretty much cranking these all the way down, I think. And I think probably going to be using the additional holes for the camber adjustment. So yeah, we'll do that and move on to the rear, I guess. I guess this is coilover life, trial and error. It's definitely not as easy as the air ride. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the garage. So just there you saw me cranking down the coilovers, and it wasn't quite enough, and I have actually pretty much bottomed them out, but I'll show you that in a minute here. My new brakes, brake calipers and rotors and whatnot showed up from Rock Auto, and I've been pretty much just waiting for a nice dry day because we've been getting absolutely shit weather in June here. I'll show you what I got here. I'll install the brakes, and then I'll take the car off the jack stands and show you where it sits with pretty much everything bottomed right out as low as it can go. So these are the brake calipers. They are Dynamic Friction Company brake calipers. They're just basically reman Volvo calipers, cleaned up, and they're coated to prevent corrosion. Again, from Rock Auto. I think these are about 50 bucks each, somewhere along the lines there. Picked up some C-Tech brake pads, part number there. Just I think these fall into their category of daily driver, nothing fancy, and some disc brake hardware. And then some C-Tech rotors, part number there, obviously they're the same, just basic, I guess cast iron vented rotors, no slotting, nothing like that, nothing crazy, just bare bones. I think for all of this was about maybe 300 bucks, and then a little bit for shipping, and then I'll get back about 80 for the core charge for the calipers. So all in all, not too bad. Here's a stock one here, or sorry, stock one, the old one. These guys are, these are the original calipers from the car. And you can see here the bleeder nipple that broke off. So, you know, it was overdue for brakes. Unfortunately, it had to happen while I was putting up coilovers. But yeah, we'll get to this. We'll get to this, install this stuff, and show you how the car sits on the ground. Alright, so it's another new day, of course, because I can never get anything done in one day. Something always goes wrong. It's raining out, but something interesting that I just got. So, what am I trying to say here? I did have the car on the ground, and it wasn't as low as I'd wanted it to be. You might have seen that on my Instagram if you follow me. And it's really strange because for the fronts, if you want to buy the extreme low kit, which they totally sell, all you need to do is buy replacement dampers and another set of springs and just let them know how much shorter you want them. But if you want extreme low for the rear, they tell you that they don't offer it, which I don't know why you would want to have a crazy rake like that. Like, you know, as low as the rear kit goes, it sits pretty high. So if you were gonna go any lower than the standard kit, you'd look like a muscle car. Like, I don't know why you'd want that. Like, it would be extreme. If you went with extreme low and didn't do anything with the rear, it would just look completely whack. But I contacted a local spring company in town. They've been around for a long time. And I was just like, hey, you know, I've got these springs. What should I do? Is there a way to maybe source another set that are a little bit shorter? Or is there a way to make springs? And they told me that they could actually shrink the ones that I have. So basically just heat up one coil and compress it so that the tightly wound coils at the top, there's a few more of them, but in my case there's just one, and it basically keeps the spring rate intact. So basically sag the spring a little bit, but you're not heating up the entire thing, so the whole thing is just soft and out of whack. So they are a little bit shorter than factory, and they charged me $50 to do it, so it's not too bad. It's way cheaper than buying another set of springs. As you can see here, the powder coat on these did suffer because these did need to get heated up. Try to show you here. So essentially, this coil here was a full coil before, or full width here, but now since it's been heated, it's shrunk down. So I asked them if they could reduce the ride height by 1 inch to 1.5 inches, which doesn't translate to 1.5 inches of spring. So if you were going to cut the spring, if I'm correct here, if you wanted 1 inch of drop, like there is a different, you wouldn't actually cut 1 inch off the spring. So yeah, told them I wanted 1.5 inches shorter, or 1.5 inches drop in ride height, and the old guy at the shop there was able to do it. And yeah, pretty stoked on these. $50, and if they're a little bit too low, I can just raise up the adjustable perch on the bottom and it should be good, and I should be able to dial this in just right. So we got the nice bag on here. It's raining. Woo! God damn. So these are looking good. Once again, these are DFC calipers. They're just reman Volvo calipers, zinc coated, and C-Tech rotors, C-Tech pads, all from Rock Auto. Super cheap. Should get the job done. And these are all bled, all ready to go. Just got to put those springs in the back and set her down, and we should be pretty good. So there she is. Car's back on the ground. Give it a little bit of a quick and dirty alignment. Let's seems to be good. I mean, the front isn't quite as low as I'd hoped, but it's better than it was with the cut springs. And the rear, thankfully, to that spring shrinking, has fixed that gap considerably. So now it sits basically where it was on cut springs, but it's a hell of a lot stiffer now, so I shouldn't bottom out. It doesn't really have any gas in it, so my dad was nice enough to go to the gas station and get a jerry can filled, and we'll fill that up, throw it on the ground, and see how it looks when it's completely on the ground. But yeah, it's looking way better than it was. And I don't know, I phoned BC and I asked them about the extreme low for the front and how to go about that, and that's when they mentioned that you just buy replacement parts and put in the notes how much shorter that you want them. And I asked them about the rear, and the guy on the phone actually said he owns a 740, and he was saying that the reason that they don't offer anything shorter for the rear is that you can't actually drive it, and your rear axle will bottom out on the chassis. But I've been driving my car pretty much like that low basically since I bought this thing, and I've never had any issues. So maybe it's a 740 thing and not a 240 thing, but you can definitely go lower than what BC offers for the rear of a 240. Yeah, I don't know. They're a big company and they make a lot of products, but it seems like they don't have their info straight on the 240 stuff. So I don't know what the deal is with that, but I'm much happier with how the car sits. Yeah, we'll just put some gas in it, fire it up. It hasn't run for quite a long time now, probably over a month now since I posted the first video, and move the work truck out of the way, take it off the blocks, and go for a little test drive. Well, it's a nice sunny day. Gave it a quick little wash. Bit of a detail spray. Came out pretty good. It's sitting pretty nice. It is definitely lower than it was before. Basically went over a speed bump that I'd gone over 1,000,000 times, and car came to a complete stop, getting hung up on the exhaust. But yeah, I was just caught on the cat, and pretty sure I'm gonna cut that out anyways, so not a huge deal. But yeah, it rides pretty good. No rubbing in the front, no rubbing in the rear. Got the rear or the front set to 20 clicks towards hard. The rear set to 30. That's a little bit too hard, so I'm gonna bump that down. But overall, it's looking pretty good. Super stoked to having it back on the road. Just driving around and seeing people smiling and waving and whatnot, and you know, you get the odd old person who gives you the stink eye because they don't like to have fun anymore. But yeah, pretty happy with how it turned out. Wasn't as easy as just buying the kit, but I guess that's you know, car customizing never just bolts right on. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I guess that's a wrap on the coilover install. So yeah, thanks for watching, subscribing, sharing. Getting a lot of followers on Instagram from the YouTube videos, so thanks for that. Yeah, thanks for watching.